We're leaving my hometown community of Wasaga Beach here in Ontario. We're heading out on the country roads. October the 20th today, right in the middle, in the depth, in all the majesty of the fall colors. Well, in fact, it's starting to wane just a little bit now, which is normal for October the 20th. The location, well, we're heading towards a farm field. Big, muddy kind of old farm field, but it has a beautiful red barn. The red barn, right next to it, has the most amazing stack, if you will, of bales of hay. It promises to be a beautiful location, an interesting location, and a location I've wanted to shoot for quite a while now. All we need today is two things. If we could get the right light and the right sky above and behind the barn, it promises to be a very interesting image. Hey, Gary here, Gary Klein Photography. Welcome to my channel. Let's head on down this country road. Let's see what adventures, let's see what images we can find today. Wow. Let's take a look. Behind that hay is the barn. And it's really a matter of the composition. Can we find a composition that where we can incorporate the hay, incorporate the barn, and possibly some fall color? Well, the fall color right in this particular field is a little mundane, not too exciting. Now we get to see the barn. Okay. Interesting for sure, but is it an image? Again, it's something I've driven past on several occasions and thought I'd really like to get into this property, but you know what, already things are just not looking the way I'd kind of anticipated they would. And that's due to the fact of two things. The time of day, well, I knew that a morning shoot, you know, the sun would be to my east, which it is. Let me kind of show you what I'm going to talk about. So right now we see the barn. The barn is not showing any light really whatsoever. The sun to my right, to my east, diffused by a layer of cirrus cloud. To the left of the barn, tall trees. It's those tall trees that shade the barn in the afternoon from the sun from the west. So that would not work. Because the orientation of the barn, we're not getting any light, of course, on the west side of the barn, which is really where I want the light to be, to highlight that beautiful red weathered color of the barn. Yeah, you know what, much easier said than done. Let's go shoot the barn. Okay, now you're here and you actually take a look at everything. Well, it becomes much more of a challenge. But let us work our way a little bit around this particular field. And let's see if we can get in a position from distance, see if we can create an image from a distance. So let's just work our way across this field. It's a little bit muddy, but of course it is. It's October. Okay. Take a little look behind us. Okay. Well, you don't see much of the barn right here, but I do like that big old tree there. almost silhouetted with the sun to its right. There's an airport, a small country airport, a seaplane taking off. You can maybe hear it. I don't know if you can see it in the sky. Looks like a Cessna 206 on a pair of whipline floats. Well, very, very, very windy out here today. Let's just make our way across this field and see if we can somehow position ourselves to kind of make an image work here. Let's just keep looking. Okay, our first very kind of dull gray, a mundane composition of the day. But you know what? You never ever know until you capture the image. So yes, we're definitely going to try. This actual composition has a great deal of merit. Even though I'm not working with the light I want, I've got a beautiful lead gray sky above the barn. I absolutely love that gray. We're set up on the tripod. We're using our Fujifilm X-T2. We're using our 18 to 55mm lens. We have a focal length of 55mm, f4, a shutter speed of, well, what is the shutter speed? You know what? I don't know. Let's just take a little look and see. We have a shutter speed of 1/640th of a second at what my camera tells me is correctly exposed at ISO 200. 2-second timer. Let's capture that first image. Wow. Well, right there, just as quick as that, our first image in the bag. More aeroplanes taking off. Look to my east. You can see the east. Look at the sky, the diffused sun. Absolutely loving that sky here. You know what? We are going to get a little bit of light on the front of the barn. The front of the barn is well weathered. It's not showing much of the red like the left side of the barn, but you can see how the left side is protected. It's protected from the light, from the wind, from the rain. Hence, the paint is in much better condition, weathered, but it's still there. We are getting some light on the front of that barn. We're going to grab the next shot. 2-second timer, one more time. 55mm focal length, second shot. Whew. Let's take that out a little bit. Let's go to around a 35mm focal length. This time, oh yeah, we've got more light because we just jumped up 2/3 of a stop. We are now at 1/1000th of a second. Now, right there, you can see the proof is in the pudding. We had on the first shot 1/640th of a second. The light popped out, the sun just started to poke from behind the diffuse cloud, and all of a sudden we have a shutter speed, again at what my camera tells me is correctly exposed, at 1/1000th of a second. f4. So yeah, the power of light demonstrated right there. Okay, I'm actually really enjoying this location. Of course, this is not going to be a spectacular award-winning composition or image by any means, but if every image we took was an award-winning image, then really what fun would that be? The fun is in the creation, the hunting, the finding, the joy you feel when you see something and you think to yourself, oh my God, I really want to capture that image. Just the excitement. This is a beautiful location. Oh my, we've got even more light. I get a little bit excited when I get some light, but now we've just gone up another, well, now we're at 1/1250th of a second, 2-second timer. Wow. So again, a little bit of an example of the power of light. We started off at 1/640th. That last shot we just took was at 1/1250th of a second. Double, over double, well, almost double the shutter speed. Right there, just a little bit of light makes so much difference. Secondly, I'm going to say the leeward side of that big kind of haystack is also now getting illuminated by that new light. We're starting to see some goldens. It's well weathered. It's been there for a long time. That's not fresh harvest this year. It's well weathered, but it's giving some beautiful contrast between the weathered hay and then something that looks a little fresher, if you will, or a little more colorful, the gold of the hay. It's actually quite interesting, and you know what? I'm just so looking forward. Now, we've lost a little bit of light because now we're back to, what are we back to? Well, we're back to, oh, you know what? Maybe not, maybe not. Maybe it's just me. Yeah. No, we're back to about 1,000ths of a second. Again, 2-second timer, one more image at 35 mil. I like it. I think I'm just going to change slightly the composition, and I'm actually going to do this by, let's just loosen the rotation of the ball head. And let's just twist that a little bit so we get, you're not going to see this at all, and I know that on the back of the camera, but what we've just done is, I'm going to see if I can show you this in the GoPro. I've just moved this barn here to over here, if you will, or just like this to the left third line of my camera. I don't know if that makes any sense, but we just decided to follow a little rule of third. Okay. Theoretically, that should make for a little bit more interesting of a composition, simply because we moved the barn to the left. We put it on the left vertical on the grid, again, following the rule of thirds. Okay, loving that. Just loving that. Yeah. We're going to play with this image, this location, just for a few more minutes. I'm not going to spend a lot of time because, as I say, I know it's not an amazing location, but it's something that's interested me for a while. Okay. Okay. We really started to get some light on the front of that barn now. Absolutely beautiful. The golden hay. Wow. Let's grab another shot. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, I think we're done with this location. There's a couple of other, well, there's another location that I want to go to. It's a bit of a muddy kind of area with a little bit of faux color, some kind of decaying dead trees, all kind of combined together. Maybe chaotic, maybe not, but we're going to go take a look. Hey, let's back up from here and let's move to our next location. Let's see what we can do there. We've made it to our second and final location for today. Again, another farm field, but this time I believe this is a crop, and I believe it's called winter wheat, which means we have to be extremely careful not to basically walk on the farmer's crop. But we are on the side. I'll show you. We're on the side of the field. There's like a little bit of an area here that's just scrub brush and scrubble, and we can walk there. But how beautiful is this green field? How absolutely beautiful. You may hear the rumbling in the distance. But the other side of those trees is harvest work taking place. And I believe they're harvesting corn over there right now. But we're heading just around here. We just want to take a little look at an area that I kind of noticed. Well, what I'd noticed was the entrance into this field. But quite often, if you can get through here without causing any damage, of course, then you may be able to get a location where you can get a nice shot, a nice kind of composition. But let's just take a look. If we don't go around here, we're not going to know. Let's go take a look. We made our way all the way around the farm field. It took about 25-30 minutes. We came out at the next concession south of where we were, and look what we found. We've got an absolutely stunning grey sky, which I love. We have a country road, and we have a row of autumnal colors going all the way down, all the way down. Absolutely beautiful. What we don't have is the light. The cloud is building. Take a look up there. Earlier this morning when we were shooting the barn, the cloud was much thinner. We are seeing some sunlight, but it's really now behind a thicker and building a layer of cloud, which means we're not getting the diffused sunlight that we did earlier this morning at our first location, again the barn. So you know what, I think in this particular case, unfortunately, we're gonna have to try to rely on Lightroom to provide the light that we're gonna need, that we will need to create this image. But it's just a beautiful country road. So we are set up on the tripod again with the Fujifilm X-T2 camera. What have we got? Well, you know what, before we're going to know what we've got, we better put glasses on so we can actually see. There we go, that's much better. So now we can see. So let's just take a look-see in here. Okay, so right now we have 1/160th of a second f8. Of course, we have a much greater depth of field, ISO 200. Oh, hey, and at those settings, what's our focal length, by the way? Our focal length, 34 mil. Okay, like that. Let's just pop on, if we can, let's just pop on our 2-second timer. Hey, you know what? Let's just take a little image there and just see how that looks. Okay. Let's increase the exposure by 2/3 of a stop. 1/100th of a second. Again, the 2-second timer and the second image of this location. Now, we're incorporating the road, which I like because it's a nice little kind of gravel back road, which I absolutely love. Oh, and you know what, right now, oh yeah, right now we have a tractor coming down this road. I just came out of a field with a red trailer behind it. We are going to capture this particular image if this said farmer comes closer to us. I don't know if you can see him. He's way in the distance. He's somewhere way up here right now, way up there. Oh no, he just turned into a field. Oh, that is absolutely too bad. You probably didn't see any of that, but for a moment I was ecstatic because I would just love to get a natural kind of track to come down this road with maybe a red, which it was, a red big bucket bin trailer, which is usually full of golden corn, maybe a little bit spilling over the sides. What a beautiful image that would have been, but you probably didn't see any of that on the GoPro because it was too far away. But for a moment then, oh, I thought that would be just beautiful. Anyhow, let's get back to what we're doing here. And I'm going to just change this focal length. I am going to just bring this in a little bit more to around, oh, what are we at now? About a, well, 35 mil focal length. We're at 1/3 of a stop over. Again, the 2-second timer. By the way, we're using the Velvia film simulation today. That's going to help punch the colors just a little bit for us. Let's go to 1 full stop over. Again, 2-second timer. Beautiful image of a little country scene. We've got a little bit of a fence in there. Oh my, I am absolutely loving this particular composition, this image. But let's move. Let's just take a look. What would happen if we go across the other side of this country road, you see how the composition's changing. You know what would be nice? Stood right in the middle of this country road. Yeah. The other side of the country road, just too far to the right. Right about, oh, here would be nice, but that's right in the middle of the road. But you know what? Where we are is better. Where we are is just better. Okay. Wow. Wow. Let's bring that all the way in for a moment. Let's just see. Okay, so now we've gone really wide, by the way, and I just said let's bring that in. I should have said let's push that out. But anyhow, having said that, really wide now at 18 mil. And you know what? Just too wide. Just too wide. Don't need that width. Let's take a look here. And you know what? Let's just slacken off this slightly. Let's just pull this camera back. Oh, let's slacken off a little bit more. And let's pull the camera back. There we go. There we go. Let's pull the camera back to incorporate just a little bit of that absolutely beautiful gray sky above the trees. Trees are in totally different stages of their autumnal change. Some are totally bare, some beautiful golden and yellow and still with a hint of green, but I am liking that shot. What have we got there for an exposure? Well, you know what? Because we started pointing towards the sky a little bit, we went a little high on the exposure to 2 stops over. We're just dropping back down to what the camera tells me is 2/3 of a stop over. Again, our timer. Wow. One more image. I think I'm going to put on my long lens and just to see if we can play with something that's a little bit more intimate on this particular scene. Stand by. We've just changed to our 55 to 200 mil lens, but very quickly now, all of a sudden, we just got a little bit of light. At 55 mil, let me just pop that timer back on real quick. At 55 mil, 2-second timer. I like it. We got a little bit of light there. Let's bring that in a little bit more now. Now we're at about 60 mil focal length. Let's go to what the camera tells us is about 1 stop over. Are we going to get any more light? I don't think so. I don't think so. Just for a brief moment, you can see the brightness there to the left of that image, but you can see the gray. All that cloud is moving from the west to the east, unfortunately. And all that cloud is also on the west side of the sun, which means, no, it means just the light is just going away as we speak. I'm gonna bring that in just a tickle more. What are we at? Okay, so right now we're at 70 mil. 2/3 of a stop over. Nice shot of the country road. Let's just try bringing that up a little bit. Let's just angle the camera up a little bit if we can, just to incorporate a little bit more of that sky. Okay, because we did that, there we go, drop that down again. Okay, f8 ISO 200, 70 mil focal length, shutter speed 1/60th of a second, 2/3 of a stop over, 2-second timer. Wow. Hey, whew. Are we having fun or are we having fun? Well, I'm having fun anyhow. Absolutely loving what we're doing here today. I'm glad we came out today because yesterday I thought about coming out, but it was just a bright blue sky, beautiful sunshine, bright blue sky, 20 degrees Celsius. What is 20 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? I don't know, 70, 72, whatever, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Beautiful kind of October the 19th day. Little warmer than what our normal would be. The weather this time of year, it changes. We're out here today in fall colors. Tomorrow we could be out here with our first snow. I doubt it, but we could. probably won't happen until sometime in November, so much so looking forward to that, because if you can get your first snow whilst you still have a little bit of fall colors, that can be spectacular. Okay, I'm just going to take a little walk around here and see if there's anything else, and if there is, then we'll pop those into the final image. But you know what, I'm thinking that's about it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, it's Gary with Gary Clayton Photography. Please like, share, and comment, and do subscribe to our channel. Your subscription really contributes to the growth and the overall well-being of our channel. Thank you. We will see you next time. Let's sit back with a cup of coffee, put our feet up in the studio, and let's just look at a couple of images that we've shot today. Bye-bye.